Right, so in today's video, I'm going to be telling you how I'm going to be taking care of this lawn throughout the rest of this autumn to get it ready to tackle the winter this year. So this was the lawn that I actually renovated around about 3 weeks ago now, and you can see that it is actually looking pretty decent at the moment. The weeds are few and far between. There are still a few, so there's one over there if you can just see. So not completely eradicated, but compared to what this was like, it's looking so much better. And prior to this renovation, the lawn was actually really thick, but almost too thick in a way. So by scarifying it a few weeks ago and overseeding it, you can see now the lawn's looking like it's in a much better and healthier condition. So in terms of what I'm actually going to do to this lawn to keep it in good nick, it's actually quite straightforward. So the first one is I'm going to keep cutting it on a regular basis. Now, it's not going to be as often as what it was in the summer when the grass was actually booming at the time, but it will be quite frequent still. So I'm probably going to be getting on this lawn maybe once a week at the moment, just to keep it at a nice level. Just for a bit of an example, it's Thursday at time of recording, and this lawn last had a cut on Saturday, so it's been almost a week now since its last cut, and it is ready for one now. But as we get further into the autumn and then eventually into the winter, it's obviously going to be getting cut a lot less, just because the grass will eventually go dormant. But we're not there yet. At the moment, we actually do have quite favourable conditions for grass growth because the temperatures aren't too hot, so there's no risk of the grass being scorched or going dormant that way, and there's a lot of moisture in the soil at the moment. So with the sort of moderate temperatures and the amount of rain that we're having at the moment, it's almost prime conditions for the grass to be actively growing. So the first port of call is to get on this lawn with the lawnmower and give it a cut. So I am going to be cutting this lawn on the third highest setting on the hater, because I don't want to be cutting it too short, because if I do, that's going to encourage a lot of moss growth, particularly this time of year when there's a lot of moisture in the soil, and I don't want the moss to take over during the winter. So I'm not keeping it really long, but I'm keeping enough length on the grass just so that the actual grass plant can crowd out any moss that does actually try to grow. So you can see only a small amount of the grass has actually come off, and at the moment I'm really happy with how this lawn's looking. But to keep like this, I need to get on and give it a feed with some autumn winter fertiliser, and I'm also going to be getting on with some liquid iron too. Now the reason why I'm getting on with the granular fertiliser first is because when I get on with the liquid iron, if I was to apply that first, then when it comes to putting the actual granular stuff down, it's going to stick to the grass plants and it's not going to get down to the soil layer where this needs to be to dissolve and just to give the plants all the nutrients and stuff it needs to grow inside of the fertiliser. So if you are getting on with a mix of liquids and granular, definitely get on with your granular first. Now this is the A1 Lawn Autumn Winter Fertiliser, and it's a 6, 5, 10 mix, which means it contains less nitrogen because that's less important as we actually get further into autumn and then eventually into winter. But it does contain a lot of phosphorus and potassium, which is brilliant for root development and actually the overall health of the plants. There we go. Just eyeball it in, try not to spill any like I've just done. I've got the Scotch spreader on setting 7, which should be plenty big enough to actually get this product down in one pass. I probably could have gone higher on the setting on the Scotch spreader. I'm going to put it on setting 4 now, just to reduce the size of the holes and do one more pass just to make sure there's a really good distribution of the fertiliser. There we go, that's the fertiliser down, and now it's time to get on with the liquid iron. Right, so I'm going to be getting on the lawn then with some liquids. The first one is going to be liquid iron. Now, the reason why I'm getting on the lawn with liquid iron is because it's what's going to help tackle and combat any moss that actually comes through. Liquid iron will turn the moss black, it'll dehydrate it, it'll kill it off. And the other benefit of liquid iron too is that it's going to actually green up the lawn without giving it any sort of boost of growth, because nitrogen is what's going to turn your lawn green and give it the boost of growth, whereas liquid iron is just what is going to turn your grass green. However, you do want to be careful that you don't put too much of this down, because it can have damaging effects onto your lawn. This one does say you can put about 5 grams per square metre down onto your lawn. So the lawn I've got at the front is around about 12 square metres, so I'm going to be getting on with around about 60 grams of this in the sprayer. But it's not the only thing I'm going to put in the sprayer. I'm also going to be putting in some wetting agents. And the reason being is because that's going to help the actual water be distributed into the soil and off the grass blades when it rains, and it's going to make sure a lot of that moisture is actually retained in the soil as opposed to just sitting on the grass blades, which can often happen in the morning with the dew that we have at the moment. And then I'm going to be getting on with some seaweed extract too, and anyone who's been on this channel for a while knows this is brilliant for the actual root development of the plant. And as we sort of get into late autumn and winter, we want those roots to be as strong as possible, just so the plants stay nice and healthy all the way through these colder seasons. So I'm going to get a bit of water in the knapsack sprayer, I'll mix everything up and we'll get it on and spray it onto the lawn. There we go, don't get any of this on your patio because it will stain. I'm going to give it a trusty shake as well, just make sure everything is mixed up nicely. There we go, ready to get onto the lawn. Try not to get any of this on the hard surfaces because the liquid iron will stain any patios, any wood, anything like that. And just do as many passes as you need to until your sprayer runs out. And there we go, just make sure you take your shoes off before you step onto any patios or anything, just because, like I said before, it will stain. I'm going to give these a quick rinse in a second because there's a bit of moisture on the flags, and then hopefully jobs are good. So there we go, that's all I'm doing to this lawn at the moment, and hopefully it'll put it in good stead over the next few weeks, few months, and I'll get on again sort of late November, do something similar just to keep the grass looking nice and healthy all the way through winter. So hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to check out any of my other videos such as my garden renovation series or any of my lawn sit videos, then you can head over to my channil, and if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. And finally, thanks for watching.